at your fingertips. Get news and current events, entertainment, sports, kiddies programs, and more at your beck and call on Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. Just visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. Then you are a global citizen. Al-IyamoyeTV and radio, voice of the voiceless.
It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. A lovely Tuesday morning right here on Al-IyamoyeTV and radio, and I'm sure it is a lovely one on the other side while you are watching us live on Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. It is the last day in the month of October 2023. That's the 31st day in October. Not too early or too late to still say a happy new month in advance. Welcome to Freshlight, fresh episode this morning, where we'll take you through this different stories and the front pages of our newspapers this morning to keep ourselves abreast of what is happening around us and even outside the country. My name is Modupe Akinyosoye, and as usual, I have a couple of newspapers with me which we will be perusing. I have the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. All right, let's kickstart without further ado. Let me pick up the Vanguard newspaper first to see what we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. We have the big headline right here that says chaos erupts in Rivers. This comes with several riders, multiple riders, but details on page 5 in the Vanguard newspaper. On the third quarter of 2023, UBA records 115% growth in earnings. That's on page 20 in the Vanguard newspaper. FEC approves 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget. That as well on page 20 in the Vanguard newspaper. Electricity sector privatization has failed. Federal government admitting that on page 12 in the Vanguard newspaper. On autonomy, Oyo, Edo, Kano, Ogun, Ondo assembly workers begin indefinite strike. You have that on page 7 in the Vanguard newspaper. Tributes as elder statesman Nwabueze dies at 84. That you get to see on page 11 in the Vanguard newspaper. Away from those, we also have headline: Supreme Court verdict, struggle continues as long as I breathe. Atiku revealing that with the rider, Nigeria greater than your selfish ambition. Presidency APC tell ex-VP. You have that details on page 9 in the Vanguard newspaper. Protests rock Jos over alleged conflicting tribunal judgment. Page 12 as that very story. And also you get to see a sport headline right on the front page of the Vanguard that says Messi wins 8th Ballon d'Or. And the detail of that on page 31 in the Vanguard newspaper. And quickly going through the stories we have in the Vanguard, some of the stories. Chaos erupts in River State. Taking a quick trip to River State with the Vanguard. A political volcano erupted in River State yesterday as the upwelling crisis in the state split over. Sections of the State House of Assembly were burnt as 24 lawmakers made moves to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who said he escaped an assassination attempt from police gunshots. Amid the dust, 26 members of the assembly suspended the speaker, Martins Amehule, and 3 others, and elected and inaugurated the leader of the House, Edison Ehie, as the new speaker. And this came following a crisis that rocked the assembly on Monday morning over moves by some of the lawmakers to impeach Governor Fubara. And the development started from the burning down of the hallowed chambers of the legislative arm of the government on Sunday night. To get the rest of that with much balance in the Vanguard newspaper. Chaos erupts in Rivers. And away from River State, let's move to the business page of the Vanguard. This says, depreciating Naira value pushes medical care beyond Nigerians. So that from the health pages of the Vanguard, with a rider that says 1,170 Naira to US dollar, to $1 monumental tragedy, says PSN president. It is not the best of times to be sick in Nigeria or to require any form of medical treatment as a result of a disease infection or accident trauma. This is because the continuous free fall of the Naira value over the last few years has worsened the already weakened healthcare delivery services in the country. From the pharmaceutical sector to the healthcare delivery services, Nigeria's treatment of one ailment or the other has been rendered helpless, and hospitals are also not spared. And apart from escalating the cost of medicines in Nigeria, its adverse effect on the population leave much to be desired. From the Vanguard, depreciating Naira value pushes medical care beyond Nigerians. The health pages of the Vanguard captures that. And on autonomy, Oyo, Edo, Kano, Ogun, Ondo assembly workers begin indefinite strike. Following the expiration of the ultimatum given to the federal government by the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASSAN, for the implementation of financial autonomy in legislative houses in the country, PASSAN staff in Oyo, Edo, Kano, Ondo, and Ogun State yesterday commenced an indefinite strike and consequently shut gates leading into the houses of assembly. The assembly workers in Oyo State, who displayed placards with various inscriptions to drive home their demands, blocked the entrance of the assembly. The industrial action of the legislative staff was as a result of the expiration of the ultimatum of the national body of PASSAN, as well as the peculiar agitations of the state chapter of the union. On autonomy with the Vanguard, Oyo, Edo, Kano, Ogun, and Ondo assembly workers begin indefinite strike. Away from that, also from the Vanguard, let's take a trip outside Nigeria to Israel to give an update of what is still going on right there. Israel forces battle Hamas in Gaza as Prime Minister rejects ceasefire. Israel said Tuesday its forces battled Hamas inside Gaza overnight and struck 300 targets after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu categorically ruled out a ceasefire as a surrender to the Palestinian militant group. The soldiers killed terrorists and directed air forces to real-time strikes on targets and terror infrastructure, the army said in a statement. In the fourth night of major ground operations inside the north of the Palestinian territory, it reported several engagements in which its forces came under anti-tank missile and machine gun fire. Israel forces battle Hamas in Gaza as Prime Minister rejects ceasefire. The details in the Vanguard newspaper. Back to Nigeria with those reports that says INEC to receive 18 billion naira for conduct of Bayelsa Kogi Imo elections. Budget Minister revealing that. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Alhaji Atiku Bagudu, said that 18 billion naira would be provided for the Independent National Electoral Commission to support them in the conduct of the Bayelsa Kogi and Imo elections. He disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents after the council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the council chamber presidential villa in Abuja, saying, and he equally noted that a total sum of 2.1 trillion naira has been approved by FEC as supplementary budget for the year 2023, the second this year. INEC to receive 18 billion naira for conduct of Bayelsa, Kogi and Imo elections, says Budget Minister. Away from that, we have a warning from the #1 citizen saying, don't come to FEC meeting unless you are invited, Tinubu warns. President Bola Tinubu has warned government officials and family members against attending the Federal Executive Council meeting, without invitation. Tinubu issued a warning before the commencement of the FEC meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja on Monday, and you get the rest of that in the Vanguard newspaper. Don't come to FEC meeting unless you are invited, Tinubu wants. Away from the Vanguard, let's see what we have in the Nation newspaper. Alright, let's start from the front page of the Nation newspaper to see what we have, the stories and headlines right on the front page of the Nation newspaper. The bigger headline here says, Rivers quakes as governor gets impeachment notice. That's also resurfacing. And page 4, the story you have on page 4 in the Nation newspaper. FEC okays 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget with a rider 5.9 billion naira for FCT roads. Page 5 captures the story. Nigeria and Germany signed $700 billion solid minerals exploration pact. Page 4 has the story. UBA records 1.3 trillion naira gross earnings in the third quarter of the year. Page 6 captures that. 50 decomposing, 29 headless bodies found in cattle market. You have that on page 29 in the Nation newspaper. U.S. court, United States court declines request seeking release of Tinubu's FBI record. You have the details of that right on page 5 in the Nation newspaper. And also you get to see Bayelsa Imokogi 2023 with riders. Details on page 28 in the Nation newspaper. And also from the front page of the Nation, Atiku slams Supreme Court over election verdicts. With a rider, APC says is delusional. You have that on page 2 in the Nation newspaper. And also you get to see options. Okay, that's with the headline, Atiku slams Supreme Court over election verdict. CNG buses will revolutionize transport sector. You have that on page 29 in the Nation newspaper. Saudi hospital to separate Kano conjoined twins. Page 6 has the details of that. Ayedatiwa back in court. You have that on page 29 in the Nation newspaper. And going through the Nation newspaper this morning, let's pick one or two stories. We'll start with the agreement between Nigeria and Germany. Nigeria and Germany signed $700 billion solid minerals exploration pact. The federal government and Germany geoscientific technology company, Geoscan GmbH, based in Berlin, have signed a pact that will stimulate the exploration of Nigeria's mineral deposits worth more than $700 billion. The Solid Minerals Development Minister Dele Alake, who broke the news, said the agreement is on the exploration and exploitation of mineral deposits in the country. Alake dropped the hint while chatting with State House reporters after yesterday's Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. From the Nation, Nigeria and Germany signed $700 billion solid minerals exploration pact. Away from the agreement, we have this reporter says FEC approves 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget. With a rider 5.9 billion naira for Abuja light rail access roads. The Federal Executive Council has approved 2.1 trillion naira supplementary budget for the year 2023, the second this year. And the meeting was presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. Bagudu explained that of proposed amounts, 605 billion naira would be spent on national defense and security, while about 300 billion naira would be spent on maintenance of bridges. He added that 210 billion naira would go for the payment of wage award to civil servants and 400 billion naira for cash transfer to vulnerable households. From the Nation, FEC approves 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget. And taking the sports story from the sports page of the Nation, Nottingham may unleash Awoniyi on Aston Villa. Despite playing for just 20 minutes in Nottingham Forest's 3-0 loss to Liverpool at the weekend, Taiwo Awoniyi may return to the starting lineup for coach Steve Cooper when they host Aston Villa next week. And Cooper had to tread carefully with Awoniyi after the striker made his comeback from injury in Sunday's 3-0 defeat at Liverpool. And Awoniyi had missed the Reds' previous 2 games with a groin problem sustained in the 1-1 draw with Brentford earlier this month. From the Nation, Nottingham may unleash Awoniyi on Aston Villa. The rest of that from the sports pages of the Nation newspaper. We'll continue with more headlines after this commercial break. Of course, we'll come back to take more stories from our newspapers. Stay with us.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in their bid to see greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling agency business, it is a rocket science. That is not our case at Tausaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visa to places like Europe, America, Asia, Africa? It's no big deal to us at Tausaf Travels and Tour. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA, and Canada within a twinkle of an eye. We offer Hajj and Umrah services to our Muslim faithfuls. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Tausaf Central Mall, Sholanke Street, behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 733 0900 or 0806 578 4060. Stop wasting money. Pay for peace of mind. Talk to Tausaf Travels and Tour.
Gbogbo aláfẹ́ tó gbayì tó fẹ́ wọṣọ yìí ṣoge tó pàgbàmù ló ń kọjá lọ sí House of Zayana. House of Zayana, the name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, quality materials and class. House of Zayana, lẹ́tí máa rójúlówó Turkey wears, Egypt and Malaysia clothing, Dubai, àwọn designer bags lóríṣiríṣi, àwọn ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fawọ́ original ṣe, àwọn aago kájọ́ tó ń ka wákàtí ọjọ́, designer sunglasses and perfumes, pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tóbìnrin àsìkò fi ń gbafẹ́ lò gbà. Mo débẹ̀, ojú mi ń ṣe kámi, èmi ni ó rà, èmi ni ó mú. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógè gbọ́n pa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábíà, hijab àti àbáyà lóríṣiríṣi. House of Zayana lẹ́ò ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. House of Zayana wà ní 52 Ọlọ́run ṣògo road adjacent Redeemed Church Agape Parish Ọlọ́run ṣògo Abẹ́òkúta. Lórí Instagram House of Zayana 08165688618. House of Zayana, ilé ìtajà tá a ti ń tojúlówó aṣọ àti nǹkan aṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì.
Thank you for staying with us. Still Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. And picking up the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, let's see what we have on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. The bigger headline here says mayhem in Rivers. This comes with multiple riders. Right on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, you get to see the detail on page 15 in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, also resurfacing in the Nigerian Tribune. Away from that, our seniority arrangement stalled appointments of new Supreme Court justices. That's on page 4 in the Nigerian Tribune. On Alaafin stool, court hears suit filed by Oyo Kingmakers against Makinde today. Page 26 captures that very story. Ayedatiwa's apology can't stop his impeachment process, says Ondo Speaker, with a rider that says Abuja court fixes November 17 for ruling on effect of Assembly's appeal. You have that on page 16 in the Nigerian Tribune. On the third quarter of 2023, UBA records 115% growth in gross earning as PBT grew by 263% to 502.1 billion naira. Page 7 has that very business report. Tinubu passes vote of confidence in Gbajabiamila. Page 26 has the story. Owaneze leader Nwabweze dies. Tinubu and others mourn. Page 28 captures the rather sad story. Police arrest 2 pupils for setting school property ablaze. Page 25 details that story. 70 bodies found in Abia community. Page 28 has that story. History will vindicate me over Supreme Court judgment. Article revealing that on page 17 in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And of course, you get to see the picture of Governor Fubara of Rivers, Simi Fubara of Rivers State, right on the front page. And of course, Nyesom Wike, the FCC minister, right on the front page. And of course, you get to see also the Rivers State House of Assembly complex that was set ablaze on Monday, right at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Quickly going through the Nigerian Tribune, let's start with the story. This report right here says, "Be a statesman. Congratulate Tinubu and move on," APC tells Atiku. The All Progressives Congress APC has advised Atiku Abubakar to rise above political pettiness and offer befitting congratulations to President Tinubu on his electoral victory. The party was reacting to Monday's media briefing by Atiku on the judgment of the Supreme Court. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Moka, declared that Atiku at his media briefing disparaged the judiciary and instigated Nigerians against democratic institutions. From the Nigerian Tribune, "Be a statesman. Congratulate Tinubu and move on," APC tells Atiku. Away from that very story, we have this report from the power sector. 10 years after privatization, power sector objectives not met, says Tinubu with a rider. Says 90 million Nigerians lack access to electricity. President Bola Tinubu on Monday said 10 years post-privatization, the power sector key objectives has not been met. This was even as he lamented that over 90 million of Nigerians still lack access to electricity. He stated this at the Nigeria Electricity Supply Industry Market Participants and Stakeholder Roundtable held in Abuja. According to him, the sector, which was unbundled and privatized in 2013, was solely to improve its efficiency, unlock private sector investments, and unleash the potential of the nation through an energized economy. However, he said 10 years down the line, the national grid only serves about 15% of the country's demand, leaving households and factories to rely on expensive self-generation, which supplies a staggering 40% of the country's demand. 10 years after privatization, power sector objectives not met, says Tinubu. And away from that, to this story from the Nigerian Tribune as well. 99 stranded Nigerians in Niger Republic returned home. A batch of 99 Nigerians stranded in the war-torn Niger Republic have been repatriated back to the country. The returnees, who were flown back to the country by the International Organization for Migration, IOM, touched down at Murtala Mohammed International Airport at about 14-15 hours. Speaking to the media at the Lagos Airport, Southwest Zonal Coordinator of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mr. Ibrahim Fariloye, said the returnees were brought into the airport on a Boeing 737-500 chartered flight, Sky Mali, with registration number TZSMA. 99 stranded Nigerians in Niger Republic returned home, from the Nigerian Tribune. And away from the Nigerian Tribune, let's see what we have in the Punch newspaper. Let's start from the front page of the Punch to round it up, Freshlight this morning. The bigger headline on the front page of the Punch says, "Retire now, Presidency tells Atiku, ex-VP rubbishes Supreme Court judgments." This comes with double riders. Apex Court legitimizes illegality. Atiku insists, urges INEC to verify credentials. Atiku's presidential ambition doomed. Ex-VP desperate, says APC and presidency. You get a detail of that on page 2 in the Punch. Tinubu canvasses 2 trillion naira disclosed recapitalization and tariff review. You have that on page 21 in the Punch newspaper. Federal government approves 2.2 trillion naira supplementary budgets. That on page 21 in the Punch. 70 corpses and skeletons uncovered near Abia cattle market. Governor revealing that on page 7 in the Punch newspaper. Away from that, Owaneze Soludo born as legal icon. Uwabweze dies at 84. That's also resurfacing on the front page of the Punch, and details on page 15 in the Punch newspaper. Taraba governor mourns 100 boat accident victims. Others probe. Page 8 captures the details. UBA grows third quarter revenue to 1.3 trillion naira. And that's also resurfacing right at the front page of the Punch, and page 25 captures the details of that very story. And also you get to see the headline, Rivers Assembly in crisis as Wike's loyalists move to impeach Fubara. You get that, and also you get a picture of those pictures captured in River State right on the front page, but page 2 captures the details of that. Quickly moving to stories in the Punch newspaper. All right, let's start with this very story from the Punch, from Rivers. Rivers Assembly in crisis as Wike's loyalists move to impeach Fubara. Moves by 24 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara resulted in turbulence in the state on Monday as the governor's loyalists stormed the assembly complex in protest against the plot. This came after the bombing of the State House of Assembly located along Moscow Road in Port Harcourt by suspected arsonists on Sunday. A section of the chamber was damaged and some properties were destroyed. Sunday's explosion at the assembly, it was gathered, was to prevent the lawmakers from carrying out their planned impeachment, but the men of the fire service successfully put out the fire. Rivers Assembly in crisis as Wike's loyalists move to impeach Fubara. From the Punch, you get the details and more details. Also, we have this report that says 70 corpses and skeletons uncovered near Abia Cattle Market, says Governor. The Abia State Governor, Alex Otti, says 50 decomposing corpses, including 20 headless ones, as well as countless skeletons, were discovered by security operatives during a raid of the forest around the Lokpanta Cattle Market in the Umuneochi axis of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. According to the governor, it was also discovered that the cattle market was being used by kidnappers as ransom collection point. Oti made the revelation on Sunday during the second edition of his monthly media chat in Umuahia, the state capital. He vowed that no inch of the state landmass would be left to criminals, in line with his administration commitments to protect the lives and property of residents and visitors to the state. 70 corpses and skeletons uncovered near Abia Cattle Market. The governor reviewed that from the Punch newspaper. And also we have this report that says motorists accuse police of using hoodlums for extortion. Motorists have accused some policemen of conspiring with hoodlums to extort them at the Berja and Oshodi areas in Lagos State. During a visit to Oshodi and Berja on Monday, Punch Metro observed that hoodlums asked commercial drivers for 300 naira to be provided to the police. Speaking in separate interviews with Punch Metro, some commercial drivers alleged that the police officers would make it difficult for them to transport passengers in the park if they did not pay their daily dues to the hoodlums. A motorist who identified himself as Tolulokwe claimed that the amount of money commercial drivers give the policemen at the park depended on the size of their vehicles. Motorists accuse police of using hoodlums for extortion, the Punch newspaper captures. And moving straight to the sports pages of the Punch. Osimhen ranked 8, Messi claims 8 Ballon d'Or. Super Eagles and Napoli striker Victor Osimhen ended in 8th position in the 2023 Ballon d'Or award on Monday in Paris. Argentina megastar Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or for a record 8th time, ahead of Manchester City's Erling Haaland and France's Kylian Mbappe, who finished second and third respectively. The 2023 Ballon d'Or France Football Award ceremony took place at the Theatre du Châtelet in Paris. Osimhen finished ahead of the likes of Karim Benzema, Jude Bellingham, Robert Lewandowski and Mohamed Salah in the 2023 Ballon d'Or rankings. From the Punch, Osimhen ranks 8th, Messi claims 8 Ballon d'Or. Away from that also, we have the sports story that says Falcons battle Ethiopia in crucial Olympic qualifier. The Super Falcons will on Tuesday, today, at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, face Ethiopia in the second leg of the second round of the 2024 Paris Olympic qualifier. The Super Falcons played a 1-1 draw with Lucy as the Ethiopian women's senior team are known in the first leg of senior team in the first leg of the double header of at the Abebe Bikila Stadium, Addis Ababa, last Wednesday, and will hope to get a win in Abuja today with an eye on the winners of the other game between Cameroon and Uganda as they head for the final round of the qualification series. The rest of that's in the Punch. Falcons battle Ethiopia in crucial Olympic qualifier. That you get in the Punch newspaper, and of course we wish the Falcons the best in the match. All right, that'll be all on the Freshlight this morning on Al-IyamoyeTV and your radio. Do not forget, we can definitely advertise any of your product or service and take them to the doorstep and the footstep of your target audience right on Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. And do not forget to follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook at Al-IyamoyeTV and radio, on the X platform, formerly Twitter, at Iyamoye_TV, and of course on Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTV. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on your alarm button to get notification of our programs. I remain Modupe, Akinyosoye. Good morning.